Okay, we're going to do one more midpoint formula question today that we're going to be looking at. It's a bit of a level 4 question for grade 10, not quite, it's quite simple, but I can guarantee you a question like this is going to come out in your exam in some way or form, okay? Just read through the question, and as we always do, guys, just put the reading glass emoji in the chat once you've read through the entire question. Also try and formulate a plan on how we're going to answer this question, okay? I'll give you guys 2 minutes. Think about how we're going to answer the 2 questions that we have here. You guys a bit of a reminder here. Midpoint formula. Thanks, Asanda. And Vitali. I hope you guys are gonna dazzle me with your ideas. Okay. Thanks, Nyasha and Spongo Musa. And Fumisa. Hello, Fumisa. I haven't heard from you in a while. How are you? Hi, Simpiwe. Thanks, guys. Okay. I think we've thought through it a little bit. And we've got, is anybody brave enough to tell us or raise their hand and let us know how they think we're going to solve this question? I'm good. Thank you, Fumisa. Okay, I'll give you guys a bit of a hint. Every time we have a question like this, we always need to read the information they've given us. That's very important. Okay, so it says here, the following sketch shows parallelogram A, B, C, D. And as soon as we see the word parallelogram, we need to start thinking of all the properties we know about a parallelogram. Okay, thank you, teacher Nicole. Okay, think of all the properties we know about a parallelogram. Can you guys pop some of those properties in the chat? I know I've already given you a cheat sheet on the corner of the page, okay? But try to think of the ones that you already know about a parallelogram. I'll give you a hint. One of the properties of it is in the name. What do you guys think? Yes, Vitali. Good, Nyasha, you're onto something. Hi, Vitali.
Ma'am, I think that one of the properties is that it has parallel lines.
Good, there's a lot of parallel lines. Which lines specifically are going to be parallel here?
Ma'am, please repeat.
Which lines are going to be parallel?
Line, the top one and the bottom one.
Good, so line AD is going to be parallel to line BC, yes?
Yes. And
Excellent.
also,
there's
also DC is parallel to AB.
Excellent. AB is parallel to DC. Well done. Okay, that's definitely one of the properties. What else do we know? And I'm seeing a lot of them in the chat. Two pairs of sides are equal. Wait, Simpiwe says 2 pairs of sides are parallel. Yes. Opposite sides are parallel. What else? They bisect each other. Aketekile, that's very important. But we need to remember which 2 lines bisect. Okay. Good, Spongo Musa. Both pairs of opposite sides are equal, and that's very important. Okay. Yes, Isa, opposite angles are equal. So angle D and angle B, those 2 are going to be equal to each other. Angle A and C, those will be equal. Okay. Serofato, which 2 lines will bisect? Okay, I'm thinking everybody's forgotten just that one property. Okay, oh, it's not exactly 90 degrees. Okay. Good, the diagonals, Emmanuel, well done. The diagonals, so AC and BD bisect, and they meet right here at P. So what do we know about P, guys? What do we know about P? What is P going to be in this instance? Yes, Orikanisa, excellent. It's the midpoint. So when we're solving for the first question, question A, determine the coordinate of A, oh, sorry, of P, not of P, A. A is the number of the question. Determine the coordinates of P, right? We're going to use the midpoint. But what is our reason, guys? Why do we say that it's a midpoint? What is the reason for that? Anybody want to offer up a solution? We need a reason for this. We're going to say that P is the midpoint, but why can we say that it's the midpoint? Because of which property of parallelograms? Yes, Mbali.
I think it's where the diagonals intersect.
Excellent, good. Or where they bisect, right?
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. Maybe I
Excellent.
can
Well
pronounce
done.
it right.
Intersect, bisect, kind of same, but bisect literally means where they stop, where they meet each other. Okay, intersect means they cross each other. Bisect means exactly where they meet. Okay, good. So our reason for finding P, the midpoint, is because the diagonals over here bisect. All right, I'm going to give you guys 1 minute because I know you know how to calculate the midpoint. Give me the midpoint of P, please, guys. Or the midpoint or the coordinates of P. Now I'm saying the midpoint of P. No, the coordinates of P, please. Well done, Orikanisa. That was very quick. And he's on point. He's on point, Teacher Nicole. I tell you, well done, Simpiwe. And Lonobo, that's correct. Excellent. Bongo Musa, don't forget your brackets outside those numbers. Okay. All right, let's look at how we did this. So in order to get P, we needed to use the midpoint of AC. The midpoint of AC, which would give us P. Okay, so we've got -1 plus 2 over 2 and 3 plus 1 over 2. Okay, and this is going to give us a half, and 3 plus 1 is 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, that was easy enough. Now it says determine the coordinates of D. So now we're over here. And we don't know what D is. Okay, so I'm going to call the coordinates of D X and Y. We just don't know what they are, but we need to find the coordinates of D. Does anybody have an idea? What do you guys think we can do? Yes, Orikonisa. What do you think we can do?
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
What I think we can do is we can equate using the midpoint of P and say equals to the coordinates of B and X, Y, and make a equation.
Dude, I mean, I would give you a high five if we were standing right next to each other, but excellent. Well done. That's exactly what we need to do. Well done. Very well done, Orikonis. Okay, I'm going to explain for some of you who might not have caught exactly what she was saying. She's saying, because we know that the diagonals bisect, we know that the diagonals bisect, which means that AP, if P is the midpoint of AC, AP and C and PC are going to be exactly the same size. They're going to be the same. But because they bisect, that means BP and PD are also going to be the same size, right? They're going to be the same length, which means P is also the midpoint of BD. Okay. P is also the midpoint of BD. So what that tells me is that if I use the formula for the midpoint of BD, yeah, let me write B instead. the midpoint of BD, the answers that I should get for both of those should be 1/2 and 2. Okay. So if I was looking for the midpoint of BD, I would get 1/2 for the X value and 2 for the Y value. So what we're going to do is the reverse operation of that. So what we'll do is we'll go, this is X1 and that one is X, we can call it X2. Actually, let's call this one over here X2 and Y2. So we know the formula for the midpoint is going to be X plus X2 divided by 2. But the answer for the midpoint needs to give us 1/2. We already know that. That will equal to 1/2. And for our Y value, we know we're going to get Y plus Y2 divided by 2. And the answer for that needs to be 2, because that's also the midpoint. Okay. And now we've got an equation, ladies and gentlemen. We can solve for X because we know what X2 and Y2 are. I'm just going to replace them over here. My X2 is -4. So I'm going to have X minus 4 over 2 is equal to 1/2. And over here, I'm going to have Y, and now I write X. I literally say Y and I write X. Y minus 1 over 2 is equal to 2. And now we've got an unknown. We've got X, that's an unknown, and we've got Y, that's an unknown. Okay, and we can solve for these two unknowns. Can I get a thumbs up, thumbs down? Do you guys understand what I'm saying here? I hope you guys are with me. Thank you, Nyasha. If you guys are lost, just say, ma'am, thumbs down, and I can explain again. Okay. No worries, Klotro, welcome. All right, guys, there are 49 of us, or 47 of you guys. So I'm hoping I'm going to get 47 thumbs up, thumbs down, just so I can see whether we need to explain this one again. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm seeing quite a few thumbs down. So let's look at this one again. Okay. We would not cross multiply, we would isolate X Chinemirum. So we would get rid of this divided by 2, so we would multiply both sides by 2. Over here, we would also multiply both sides by 2 to get that X on its own. And then we would minus. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys now, if I told you that this is my house, right? This is my house over here, right? And the shop is over here. Okay, this is the shop. The shop and my house look exactly the same. Okay, don't ask me how. Don't ask me how. Okay, if I tell you guys that halfway from my house and the shop is 5 kilometers, how far is it to the shop? If this is 0 kilometers and halfway to the shop, this is halfway. If halfway to the shop is 5 kilometers, how far is the shop from my house? Can you guys let me know? Good, it's 10 kilometers. Because from here all the way to there will give me 10 kilometers, right? Because there's 5 here, there's 5 kilometers over here, and 5 kilometers over there. Okay, good. So you guys are remembering this. So it's 10 kilometers. Good, 10 kilometers. Now, remember when we're using the midpoint formula, we don't know the halfway point. We know this point. We know 0, and we know the 0 point, and we know the 10 kilometer point. And the way we find the midpoint is we take 0 and we add 10 and we divide by 2. And the answer there that we get is 5. Right? And then we know that halfway there is 5 kilometers. Now, if I don't give you the end point, I don't give you the end point, I give you the beginning point and the midpoint, what I'm saying is 0 plus something or other plus shop 0 plus shop divided by 2 is equal to 5. And then I have to solve for what shop is. Okay. In this case, what I would do is I would then multiply to get rid of divided by 2. I would multiply, let me just scroll up quickly because my screen is being funny. Multiply the side by 2 and multiply the side by 2 because these two will cancel. Then I'll have 0 plus shop is equal to 5 times 2 will give me 10. And then 0 just goes away because it's 0. So the shop is actually 10 kilometers away from the house. Okay. Let me know, guys, do you understand what I mean when I put it this way? Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So what we normally do when we're using the midpoint formula is we are looking for the midpoint. But this time I've given you the midpoint and you need to find me the end point. Okay. That's where we're going with it. Okay. We want to find the end point. So in order to find the end point, we're going to use the exact same formula, except what we're looking for is not the halfway, it's the end. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And that's why I've done this. Okay, let's look at the question again. One more second. Okay, now let's look at the question again. Now I know that if this is my house, and this is the shop. I don't know how far the shop is, but I know halfway. I know what halfway is. So if I want to find the shop, the distance to the shop, what I need to use is the midpoint formula and make my X and my Y the unknown. My shop is the unknown. And that's why I'm making them equal to my halfway point. That's why my X values are X up here, X plus -4, and that's where I got plus and minus will give me minus. So that's why I have X minus 4 divided by 2 will give me my midpoint. Okay, same with my Y value. My Y plus -1 will give me Y minus 1 divided by 2 will give me my midpoint. And now all we have to do is solve for the shop, for X and for Y. Okay, do you see how I'm doing that, guys? I hope it makes a little bit more sense. And that's how we get to solve for X and Y. Okay, can we solve for X in this case? Can you guys tell me what is the X value? Remember, in order to get X on its own, I'm going to multiply the side by 2, multiply this side by 2, and then 2 divided by 2 will give me nothing. So I'll have X minus 4 is equal to a half multiplied by 2 is 1. And then this makes it a lot easier to solve for X. Same with this side. Well done, Oripanisa. You've got it. This side, same thing. I'm going to go on this side and multiply by 2. Good, Simpiwe, and multiply by 2. Good. Okay. 2 divided by 2 will cancel, and on this side I will have Y minus 1 is equal to 2 times 2 will give me 4. And then I can solve for Y. Okay. All right, I'm getting quite a few answers. Good. Bufello's even given us the whole thing. Well done. Bufello, check your Y value again. Okay, I'm going to take minus 4 over to the other side and become plus 4. Therefore, X is equal to 5. And my Y value, minus 1 will go over and become plus 1. Therefore, Y will be equal to 5. So my D, the value for D, or the coordinates for D are going to be 5 and 5. Okay. Excellent. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we feeling about this example? You can cross multiply, Chinameriam. You can, because it's easy enough. On the other side, you're just multiplying by 1. Okay, for the Y. But for the 2, even if you cross multiply, 100%, you'll get the exact same answer. That's the beauty of maths. There's always more than one way to solve the same thing. Okay, awesome stuff, guys. Awesome, awesome. Okay, whew. All right. That is it for the midpoint. We now have to move to the gradient. Okay, I just want to ask you guys, have you guys done the gradient before? Give me a yes or a no in the chat. Okay, because I can't ask for thumbs up now. Have you done the, okay, Nyasha says no, but I'm seeing quite a few yeses. Okay. Kamogelo also says no, and Swazi says no. Okay, we're going to learn. Toto's currently doing it. Okay, excellent. Okay, so what my gradient actually is, I just want to make this bigger because I feel like it's really tiny. Let's make it bigger. Yeah. Okay, my gradient actually tells me, okay. All right, so my gradient actually tells me how steep something is. So think about it, think about when you're driving a car, or let's say you're riding a bike, right? If you're riding a bike and you're riding it up a hill, right? You're riding it up a hill. If my hill looks like this, I'm fit enough to do it. I can do it, you know, I can just ride the bike over the hill. It's a tiny little hill. Okay, so my gradient will be tiny. It'll be small. It'll be something like, my gradient will be 1, or my gradient will be 1/2, something small. But imagine if you came across this hill and with your bike and the hill was like that. And now you almost have to ride your bike at an angle. And it's just, you're like one step, one step, one step, one over. Okay. And that makes my steep hill very hard, which means my gradient, my steepness is going to be high, like a 4 or a 5. So the work that I need to do is a lot more. Okay. But imagine you're at the top of this hill. You're at the top of the hill and you're coming down the hill like that. Now, how hard do you have to pedal in order to get over this hill? You don't have to pedal at all. In fact, you could say this is a minus steep, because all you have to do is just push your bicycle over and then your bicycle will carry you down the hill. You're not even doing any work, right? Same as you're at the top of the hill and the hill looks like that. It's going down like that. You're just going to push yourself over the hill and then you'll just watch yourself like, woo, fly down the hill. Okay. And this will be like something like a -4 steepness, because you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything. So it goes down. Okay. So if I'm going up my hill, my gradient, or my M, will be positive because I'm doing work. I'm actually working, positive work. But depending on how steep it is, it'll be either a big gradient or a small gradient. Okay. And if I'm going down the hill, okay, depending on how steep my hill is, it'll be a big negative gradient or a small negative gradient. Okay. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Thank you, Simpiwe. Awesome. Amazing, amazing. All right, so now we're actually going to calculate for the gradient. And the gradient works similar to how we did the distance formula, similar to how we did the midpoint, guys. We're going to take the formula and we're going to substitute in here. Okay, so if I want to find the gradient for AB, I'm going to look at the point A and the point B. And I'm going to choose my X1 and my X2 and my Y1 and my Y2. Remember, they need to come from the same point. So I'm going to choose A as X1 and Y1, and I'm going to choose B as X2 and Y2. And then I'm just going to substitute into my formula. So my gradient is going to equal to, now be very careful, guys. In my gradient formula, the Y always comes first. Y on the top, X at the bottom. Okay, rise over run. Always Y at the top, and then x at the bottom of my fraction. Okay, so my y value, y2 is -2, minus my y1, which is 7, over my x2, which is -5, minus -8. Okay, now I can calculate. -2 minus 7 will give me -9, over -5, minus and minus will give me +8. Now, it will give me +8 akonele. Just watch out quickly. -5, positive and positive will give me, negative and negative will give me positive. So -5 plus 8 will give me +3. So my gradient will be equal to -9 divided by 3, -3. That is my gradient. Now, I'm definitely not going up with my gradient. I'm not going up the hill. I'm not doing any work. I'm going down the hill. Definitely going down. Do you guys see how my line AB is actually going down the hill? You see how it's going down? On your bicycle, you don't have to do anything. You just go down the hill. Okay, now I want to ask you guys in the chat, look at the line EF. Is it going up or is it going down, guys? Good, excellent. It's going up, right? It's going from F all the way up to E. So are we going to expect a positive or a negative gradient? We will, Chinamerim. You will get the exact same answer. I will show you now. Let me show you quickly. Okay. Okay. We're definitely going to get a positive gradient. So can I ask you guys to calculate for 2.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6. You've got 5 minutes, and when you're done, oh, what have I done here now? When you're done, please put the fire emoji in the chat for me. When you're done, I'm going to prove a point to Chinamerim in just a second. Let's go. Let's see. I'm going to get 7 minus -2 over -8 minus -5. Equal to, that will give me +9 over -8 plus 5 will give me -3, and was equal to -3. See, Chinamerim, exactly the same. It doesn't matter which one is x1, which one is x2. The only thing that's important is that if this is x1, this needs to be y1. You can't decide that x1 and y2 are going to sit next to each other. No, no. x1 and y1 need to sit exactly next to each other. Okay. I'm going to be quiet now and give you guys some time. Yo, Isa, that was fast. Sure, you are lightning fast at this. Okay, let's give everyone else a chance. If you can't find the fire emoji, just write fire in the chat. It's fine. Teacher Nicole, I'll tell you, I had my grade 7s also put the fire emoji in the chat, and one of them wrote Holy Ghost fire.
Oh, that's a smart one.
They have so much fun with these emojis. Yo, Toto, that's also quite elaborate.
Ooh.
All right, I'm going to give everyone else a chance to catch up, and then we'll start looking at the answers. Thanks, Abushir. Excellent, guys. Well done. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me just make sure CD is going down. Yes, so my answer should be negative. Good. EF. Okay, I'm just going to choose randomly. 6 minus negative 4 is equal to negative 4 minus negative 8. 2. 10 over negative 4 plus 8 positive 4. I need to simplify that, divide by 2, 5 over 2. Gradient of GH. I'm doing this the wrong way around. Big M. GH. Okay, I hope you guys are marking. Make sure that your answers look just like mine. Nyasha, that's perfectly fine. You will get exactly the same answer. If you switch them around, if you said -9 minus 0 and 3 minus 0, you'll get the exact same answer. Okay, don't stress about it. Let's look at GH. Okay, GH will give me 0 minus -9 over -3 minus 0, which will give me 9 over -3, which is equal to -3. The gradient of IJ is 6 minus -3 over 5 minus 8, which is equal to 9 over -3. I feel like all these answers are -3, guys. Is it just me? Okay, I don't know. The gradient of the last one, which is KL, except 2.6. Really, the last one. Did you guys get the same for EF? Because I got 5 over 2. Okay, I'm going to double check. You guys are saying it's not. I'm gonna go look now. Okay, you guys are right. Yes, it's not. Is equal to 8 over 2, which is equal to 4. Agreed. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, mark out of 5. How much did we all get out of 5? Okay, just check if you got all of them correct. Excellent. Amazing stuff, guys. Well done. Yeah. Chinemerim, I don't know how you got 6, but okay, we'll take it. Awesome, guys. Amazing. All right. Now we need to extend this a little bit because calculating the gradient, that's easy stuff, right? Now we're going to learn about parallel lines. Okay. Okay. We're going to learn about parallel lines. Guys, check what's going to happen here. Okay. If I ask you guys to calculate for the gradient of CD and the gradient of AB, tell me what happens. Calculate that quickly for me and let me know what the answers are. See something? No. Okay. Good. They're the same answer, right? We can do it quickly. The gradient of CD will be 5 minus -4 over -1 minus -2. That'll give me 9 over -1 plus 2, which is 1, which is 9. And then the gradient of AB is 8 minus -1 over 3 minus 2, which is equal to 9 over 1, which is equal to 9. They have the same answer. So this tells me that these two lines are parallel. Okay. which brings us to rule number 1. We better remember rule number 1. Rule number 1, parallel lines have the same gradient. Good, they have the same gradient or equal gradients as Sibongo Musa puts it. Okay, equal gradients. Parallel lines have the same gradient. Okay, we need to remember that. That's very important. Okay, next rule, rule number 2. Okay, perpendicular. What does perpendicular mean, guys? What kind of angle is perpendicular? What does that mean about the 2 lines? Yes, Chinamaram. You can unmute. Good. Well, everyone's got the answer in the chat. Chinamaram, are you going to let us in? Okay, that's okay. All right, it's 90 degrees, guys. So can you calculate for me what is the gradient of AC, okay, and the gradient of BD? Okay, and this time they will not be the same. Okay, calculate for me the 2 gradients and let me know what they are in the chat, please. Good, Chinamaram. Yes, they form a 90-degree angle. Though this drawing doesn't quite look like it forms a 90-degree angle, but it's okay. We get the point. Okay. Okay, Nyasha says the gradient of AC is 8. I'm gonna check your maths there. Guys, remember to stay muted. Okay, let's check your maths on that one. 5 minus -3 over 2 minus 1. Okay, yes. Okay, I agree with you. I agree. 8 over 1. Okay. What about BD, guys? There's something missing there. 2 minus 1 over 2 minus -6. Okay. 1 over 8. Okay. Sorry, guys. I need to do something. I need to do a little, yeah, something is off, guys. Okay, I need to do a little changing up, a little switch up over here. I'm going to draw just 180 degrees and I'm going to put D on this side and I'm going to call D 6 and 1. Okay, can I ask you guys, please calculate for BD again? Ignore this. Look at that D value over there. Calculate for D for me, please. I'm making an alteration. Yes, I'm altering it. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm not blocking B so you guys can see it. There's our new D value. Please calculate that for me. Oh, and that's not going to work. Over -4, this should be 12. It's also not working. Okay, I need to see what I've done with this question. Guys, give me a second. Not 1, Emmanuel, -1. That's why I'm like, I'm not sure what I've done here. Okay, here we go. Now I know what I need to do. Make this 10. I'm sorry, guys. This is the last time. This is the last time we go through this. Now, please calculate. Please calculate CD for me. I promise it will give you the correct answer this time. I promise. Okay. We'll get to 2 minus 1 over 2 minus 10. Okay. There we go, Toto. Thank you. Thank you, Toto. Thank you guys for being so gracious. It should give us -1/8. Okay. So when we look at these two, okay, if we have perpendicular gradients, and this brings us to rule number 2, perpendicular gradients, and now I'm losing my spelling. Perpendicular gradients give a product, and product means multiplication, guys, a product of -1. So if I take these two gradients, because they're perpendicular, okay, I need to get 8 multiplied by -1/8, and that's going to give me -1. Okay, so that's how we know that two lines are perpendicular. That's okay, Sibonga Musa. Okay, are we familiar with rules 1 and 2? Thumbs up, thumbs down. These are things that we're just going to have to remember as we go along. Okay. If you're not familiar with them and this is the first time you're seeing them, please either take a screenshot or write them down. Sorry, because we're going to use them in just a bit. Okay. Okay, and just for good measure, we're going to take the two rules. Okay, and if you want to take a screenshot, there it is. If two or more lines are parallel, then these lines have equal gradients. That's rule number 1, Asanda. This one over here. This is rule 1. And this one over here, this is rule 2. Okay. If two lines are perpendicular, the product of their gradients is -1. Okay, these are the two rules that we need to remember. Take a screenshot, write them down very quickly, okay, or just write parallel M1 equals M2, perpendicular M1 times M2 equals -1. Okay, all right, guys. Now let's have a look at what we need to do. Change the font size here so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. All right, so now it says, by calculating the gradients of the following line segments, determine whether the line segments are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay. Now, tell me, we're looking at AB, the line AB, and CD. Guys, calculate for me. Tell me, is it parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Go for it. Give you guys 2 minutes. And remember, guys, they're asking you to calculate for the gradients. Don't forget, we're looking for gradients. Dade, that was very fast, Dade. Shoo. My word, you moved very fast through that. Okay, Dade, you can work out B and C for me in the meantime. Issa, you can't just agree, you need to calculate for yourself as well. Okay, excellent. For all of those, for all of you, for those of you who are saying they have an answer for A, please calculate B for me. Let me just see. Okay, Jade is saying B is neither, Nyasha as well. I'm sorry, guys, there's an ambulance coming by just outside my window. One. Okay. Therefore, neither. I agree with you guys. Agreed. Okay, and let's look at C. Gradient of AB is equal to 1 minus -3 over 2 minus 1, which is equal to 4. And I'm going to move up just a little bit. There we go. Gradient of CD is equal to 0 minus 1 over 1 minus -3, which is equal to 1 over 4, -1 over 4. 4 multiplied by -1 over 4 is equal to -1. Therefore, perpendicular. Therefore, perpendicular. All right, thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we feeling about this? I feel like this is quite easy. We just need to remember the rules, guys. But I shouldn't say I feel like it's quite easy. Maybe somebody's still struggling, and if they have a question, please make sure to ask your question, guys. Don't leave any stone unturned. Okay, if you still feel like you're a little shaky and we need to go through another one again, we can always do that. Okay. Onako says, please do C again. We can do C again. All right. So for C, I'm going to choose this as X1 and X. Wow. And Y1. Okay. And this one is X2 and Y2. Okay. So we're going to find the gradient of AB first. The gradient of AB is going to be Y2 minus Y1. So I'm going to have 1 minus -3 over X2, which is 2 minus X1, which is 1. And that's going to give me 1. Minus and a minus will give me a plus. So 1 plus 3 will give me 4 over 2 minus 1 is 1, which means this is 4. Okay. Now I'm going to choose, for CD, I'm going to choose this as X1, Y1, X2, Y2. All right. So my Y2 is 0 minus Y1, which is 1, over X2, which is 1, minus -3. That's going to give me -1 over 1 plus 3, which is 4. Now, these answers are different, but they're different, but they are multiplicative inverses of each other, and they're additive inverses. Okay, so if I take 4 and I multiply it by 1 over 4, the answer I'm going to get is -1. And rule number 2, okay, rule number 2 says if I multiply the two of them and I get -1, that means that they are perpendicular. They are perpendicular. And that's where we're all getting the answer there, that they are perpendicular. I multiplied them together and I got -1. Therefore, line over here, line AB is perpendicular to line CD. I hope that makes sense, Onako. Okay. All right, guys.